On today's video, a few quick tips for when you're out ice fishing for northern pike with deadbait. Hey there outdoor YouTubers, Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. And you know, before you even head out on the ice with your deadbait to get after some pike, one of the first things you want to do is make sure that deadbait is thawed out. And there's a couple reasons for that. First reason being, thawed out deadbait, it just smells more than frozen deadbait. And you know, if you kind of think about it, that just makes perfect sense, right? And pike rely on scent a lot, especially with deadbaits. You know, sometimes that deadbait's not moving at all, and you know, you got to believe that pike really relies on its nose to decide, you know, kind of discern, is that something to eat, is it something not to eat? I think kind of a testament to that is that they'll eat deadbait right off the bottom, you know, just laying on the bottom lifeless. So you can kind of figure that scent plays a pretty big factor in them deciding whether that's something to eat or not. And you know, the other reason that you want to thaw out your deadbait is frozen deadbait floats. So if you think about it, you go ahead and you drop this down. I've got this one rigged up on a K-Slide quick strike rig. I make these rigs myself. I made a video on it. You might want to check it out if you're interested in more details on this K-Slide rig. The video is called Ice Fishing, the Ultimate Quick Strike Rig. So you might want to check that out if you're at all interested in what this is all about. But anyways, you drop this bait down, and if it's going to float, a lot of times it's going to turn upside down, and your sinkers are going to be what brings it down, right? So now, if you can imagine, your bait's going to be down there like this. It's going to float up above the sinkers. It's going to be probably right next to your main line, and a fish comes along and grabs this, which they will, you know, even though it's upside down, you know, it's not really ideal, but they'll eat it. It's sitting there upside down. It's going to be right next to your main line. A fish comes along, grabs it. He might chew right into your main line. It's just not an ideal setup. So you definitely want this bait to sink down. And you know, another reason or another thing that'll make this deadbait float is sometimes there'll be like an air pocket inside the stomach area. And what I'll do is I'll just cut that open, just a little slit in the stomach, and you can just kind of squeeze that air out. And you know, if the entrails, if a little bit of entrails hang out, you know, hey, that's even better. That's just going to generate more scent, and of course that's just a good deal to add even more scent to it. But you know, another thing I do, just to always be on the safe side, I always want to make sure that when this pike grabs it, or when this pike gets nose to nose with this deadbait, it really is going to smell something. When it grabs it, it's really going to taste something. I'll actually add some fish oil to it. I'll take these fish oil pills, they come in these like gel tabs, and I'll take one of these, poke a hole in it with the treble hook, and just kind of squeeze it out on this deadbait, just to make sure it really has really good scent. Like I say, when that pike comes nose to nose with it, and it's trying to decide, should I eat it, should I not eat it, I really want, you know, that pike's smelling senses to really smell a good fishy scent on here. You know, another variation to like the visual aspect of fishing with deadbait is changing up the color of the deadbait. And to do that, I just use food coloring, you know, just the stuff that you get in the store. I mostly like to use red. Sometimes I've used yellow. You know, just a couple drops in a bag of deadbait like this, and it'll kind of turn the whole bag into whatever color you're using. And you know, like I said, I like to use red or yellow. If you think about it, there's got to be some reason that, you know, through history, like red and white spoons have always been really good spoons for pike. Or I know like that yellow 5 of diamonds spoon, that's caught a lot of pike over the years. So hey, there's got to be some reason, right? Red and white, yellow. So those are the two colors I stick with if I do color the bait. You know, another thing I do sometimes when I'm fishing with deadbait is I will drop that deadbait down below a wingtip up. And you know, as you can see, this wind tip up has been modified a little bit. If you're at all interested in that, I did a video on it. It's called Ice Fishing Wind Tip Up Tips. So if you've ever fished with wind tip ups, if you've ever thought about fishing with wind tip ups, I think you'd find it a pretty informative video. But I know some of you guys are probably asking, like, well, why would you add a wind tip up to the dead bait? Why would you add that jigging motion to dead bait? Why wouldn't you just use a live minnow? Well, you know, my thought on that is, I'm not trying to convince the pike that these are good, lively, healthy minnows. I still want the pike to believe that these dead baits are dead or nearly dead. So the wind tip up, picking it up once in a while and letting it drift back down. Again, like I say, I'm not trying to convince the pike that that's a good, lively minnow. I really want the instincts in that pike to say, hey, that thing is dead or nearly dead. You got to run over there and eat it. This is a dog-eat-dog world down here. That's too easy of a meal to pass up. You know, especially those neutral fish. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I got to go over there and eat that. It's just too easy. That minnow, there's no way that minnow can swim away from me. I'm going over there and eating it. So, like I say, I'm not trying to turn these into good, lively minnows. I still want the pike to think they're dead or nearly dead. I still want the pike to think it's just too easy of a meal to pass up. But I think sometimes that little lift and fall is just enough to kind of trigger a response out of them. So yeah, so I do like to use the wind tip ups along with the stationary tip ups. I think it works out pretty good having a little mixture of both. But anyways, guys, there's a few quick tips on fishing with dead bait. And hey, remember this: hunt, fish, laugh, repeat. This is Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. Thanks for watching and God bless.